You wouldn't take Gordon?
No, I don't think
Nah,
so.
man.
No,
How?
I've never been impressed by Gordon. I've got to
Oh
say,
my goodness
it's a
me.
little bit of a controversial opinion nowadays, I know, but
The Brazilian
I've
scouts
never
is
really
not
seen
going.
him in
That's
this squad.
crazy. Right then, everyone. Bad news right now. Oh, actually, great news. Look, we're in a studio. We're here, we're rocking, and we're rolling. Travis and I, we are taking it to the next level this summer because we're at the European Championships. We're going to be talking about it. And the fact of the matter is, there's no Marcus Rashford. There's no Marcus Rashford at all in the European Championships. I think it's the wrong decision. I definitely think it's the wrong decision. I hope you guys agree with me and you comment below who you think should have gone to the European Championships. But Travis, let's get the team up. Let's get the squad up. Where
That's
are we
great.
going with this one as well? Because there's so many young players in here. There are so many new opportunities for some players, and some players won't even make the trip to Germany. But in this training squad at this moment in time, there's a bright new nucleus of talent, especially because of Gareth Southgate's incredible bias to Crystal Palace.
He loves that club, doesn't he?
He loves it so much. If he could get Middlesbrough players in, he would. We know for a fact he would. All right, let's get the team up. But why don't you just tell us a bit about your initial thoughts for the squad?
My initial thoughts, I was pleased with the inclusion of Adam Wharton. I thought that was brave. I was pleased with the exclusion of Jordan Henderson, although I probably would have taken him for this tournament, to be fair.
Really?
With the 26 men, I probably would,
Oh,
but I think it's brave to make that decision and leave out someone who's been a stalwart of his teams since he's been England manager. So my initial thoughts are fairly positive, but we'll have to see how we got on this summer.
nah, it's all good. So we've got our squad up here, England squad. We're gonna do it in the summer. It's coming home. Literally, it's gonna be coming home, which is fantastic. Let's go through it. So the initial squad is 33 players, and there are going to be 26 actually going to Germany. So at the end of this video, we're going to be talking about the seven players. Seven players? Quick maths.
So
Seven players that won't be getting, or eight players that won't be going to Germany as well. So we'll end that video, but I want to hear your comments in the comment below who you think shouldn't go to the Euros from the existing squad. And we'll be going through goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders, and forwards. And in our next video, we're going to be talking about our starting 11s, which would be absolutely fantastic. Right then, Travis, let's go through it. So we've got Dean Henderson, Jordan Pickford, Aaron Ramsdale, and James Trafford as our goalkeepers. First off, I don't think James Trafford should be going to the Euros. I think it's a step too far for him. He was dropped for Muric earlier this season by Vincent Kompany for Burnley. So not even making the first team for Burnley as they got relegated. That's poor showing for me from James Trafford. What do you think?
yeah, correct. I think I was surprised to see him on there. I'll be honest. I know Nick Pope has had some time out with injury, but he's back now. He's fit, and he's undoubtedly a better goalkeeper than James Trafford at this moment in time. Like you say, dropped by Burnley. If you can't be the number one for a team that's just got relegated, I don't think you should be in the England squad. And I don't think he will be. He'll inevitably be one of the seven that's cut, I would say.
Yeah, getting that experience, which would be good because he was a hero last summer for the under 21s back in the tournament where they won. So we've got Pickford in goal, Henderson, and we've probably got Aaron Ramsdale's third choice goalkeeper because Ramsdale has been a bench warmer apart from his games that where he has flopped and lost concentration in, which is not great at all. This is where it gets fun because I think this is where we're going to be most vulnerable in the defense, Travis. So if we just read out the team again, our boy, Jared Branthwaite, he made it. We've been predicting from early. It's going to be good to see him. Lewis Dunk, Joe Gomez, Ezri Konsa, Harry Maguire, Jarrell Quansah over Fikayo Tomori. That was a big decision from Gareth Southgate. Luke Shaw, cautiously put him in the squad. John Stones again. Kieran Trippier, tried and trusted, and of course, Kyle Walker. Let's see your first thoughts on the defenders, Travis.
I must admit, I was surprised by the inclusion of Quansah and Gomez. It's interesting to see him use someone different with Quansah. With how much we'll see of him, I'm not sure. I don't think he'll be anywhere near the 26 that go. But yeah, I think you're right. I think this is where we're most vulnerable. I think in terms of top class defenders, looking at that list, I think we've got one, John Stones, and that's it really.
Even he's not reliable. He's barely started a lot of games for Man City because of his injuries as well. So it's very worrying to see the fragility of our back line as well.
Exactly. I feel like our two best defenders are Stones and Shaw, and they've both spent most of the season not playing. I do think it's correct to take both of them still. I think
Yeah.
even though they've not played a lot this season. I would still take both of them. Shaw's our best left back by a mile. Stones is our best centre back by a mile. I don't see anybody taking their places. But yeah, you're definitely right. That's why we're most vulnerable currently.
No, that's absolutely fine. Because with me, if I'm looking at some players to admit, I don't want Lewis Dunk in the squad. I'm sorry. I know everyone likes him for his passing range, for his metronome of passing at the back and keeping it consistent. I don't think he's good enough for international football at his time of his career as well. You're looking at how he got dominated by Romelu Lukaku for Belgium and for Roma. It was embarrassing to see someone of that quality get embarrassed on the world stage like he did. So I don't think Lewis Dunk should go to the squad in Germany, but I think it's a really good time for someone like Kieran Trippier to come into the squad and be like, you know what, he's had a very poor season for Newcastle United. He's been hampered with injuries across his team as well. But the fact of the matter is, Travis, could it be the case that Kieran Trippier starts left back ahead of Luke Shaw because of his fitness issues that he's had for Manchester United this season, Luke Shaw?
I could see that happening against lesser opposition. I
Mm.
think against the big teams, we'll want our best left back
Yeah.
available. And I think there's a good chance that Southgate will pick Trippier against the lesser sides to keep Shaw fit for those bigger games.
Absolutely.
Don't necessarily think that's a terrible decision, although I'd probably be looking at someone like Tyreek Mitchell as deserving to play over somebody like Trippier at left back, but I can see why Trippier would be in there.
He should have been in the squad as well, Tyreek Mitchell, and there's no Rico Lewis either. So we've got a lot less left backs in a lot of countries as well. You're looking at France, and you've got the Hernandez brothers. You're looking at DeMarco for Italy, but for England, it's just Luke Shaw because Chilwell is awful. He is bloody awful. And
Biscuit legs.
biscuit legs. We're not having him at all in this side as well. One last thing on the defenders before we move on to the fun bit of the midfielders is I'm looking at Ezri Konsa. Do you think he goes as a squad player? And if he does play, where do you see him playing most, as a right back or as a centre back? Because he can play all across the back line, not so much at left back, but I think he'd be a really good squad player. But he's had a fantastic season for Aston Villa.
Totally agree. I think he fully deserves to be in with a shout for Germany. Absolutely. Like you say, he's played kind of between centre back and right back this season. Done a great job in both roles, I must say as well. I could see him playing either, and I think that lends itself well to his chances of inclusion. I think the fact that he can play centre back, he can play right back, gives him the versatility that we might need in order to win a tournament. You know, if we get an injury at right back or centre back during the tournament, he can cover both.
Suspension even.
Exactly, even suspension or even just rotation.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to play, I don't know, Walker and Stones at right back and centre back for the first couple of games, and then the third group game you want to rest one of them, you can put Konsa in either of those two roles and he'll deputise perfectly.
He won't miss a beat. He's been fantastic for Aston Villa. This is where the fun begins because we're going into midfield. And as you know, we've got a really big midfielder here. But he's not been considered as a midfielder, Jude Bellingham. He's been classed as a forward by the FA. So this is interesting topics of conversation. So as we go into midfielders, we've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, Conor Gallagher, Curtis Jones, Kobbie Mainoo, the boy, Declan Rice, and Adam Wharton as a surprise inclusion. So no Ross Barkley, no James Ward-Prowse. A lot of big names, no Jordan Henderson as well, have missed out on this England side because they would have been experienced, tried and trusted. But, you know, Gareth Southgate's going for something a lot more youth infused because you're looking at it. Trent Gallagher. I think Gallagher might be the oldest out of all of them, or Declan Rice. But what's your initial thoughts? Because I can see this midfield actually dominating possession from the players that we've got as well. Let me hear your thoughts.
This, I'll be honest, was the part of the squad that I was most surprised with. I think Curtis Jones is the biggest surprise of the lot to me.
Why?
Just because he's never really been involved with the England senior team before. I know you can say the same about Wharton, but he's not long come into the Premier League, whereas Jones has been around for a couple of years now. I'm glad that we've included Wharton, at least in this preliminary squad.
Nice.
I think it's good to see Southgate acknowledging how well he's played since joining Crystal Palace earlier on this season. I think when I look at that selection of midfielders, it looks high energy. It looks high intensity, and I wonder when
it looks technical too. You're looking at Mainoo, you're looking at Wharton, you're looking at Trent playing in the midfield position. For me, I've got that comfortable feeling of thinking, you know what? If we do go a goal up early in a game, like we did against Croatia, like we did against Italy, we can actually hold on to the ball, especially with the attacking talent that we've got to talk about coming up as well, because we can hold it in midfield. We don't have to chase the ball around for 95 minutes later on as well. So that's given me initial confidence in this side as well. What do you think?
Yeah, totally agree. I think exactly like you say, I think it's a mix of what we've both just said. It's a high energy midfield, but a midfield that are technically sound as well, can keep hold of the ball, can play it forward. And that is what we've missed in previous tournaments. You know, the 2018 World Cup semi-final against Croatia, the difference was Modric. Everyone could see that. The
Rakitic
difference
as well.
was they had an experienced midfield who could hold onto the ball, dominate play, and control the tempo of the game, and we didn't have that. And I think if you're trying to bring through people like Wharton, Mainu, Jones, I'm not saying they're going to be the level of Modric or Rakitic.
Mainu is. Mainu is.
But that's the kind of player we're trying to breed by the looks of things. So I like that midfield. I really do. Curtis Jones is a strange one, but I'm not offended by it. I do like that midfield. It's interesting to see Trent listed as a midfielder on there as well.
I like it because for the past year or so, he's been playing alongside Declan Rice. And one of my favourite moments of watching Trent this season was in a friendly against Australia when he's dominating from midfield. And granted, it's only Australia, it's at Wembley Stadium, but having that shackles released from Trent Alexander-Arnold, that was incredible for me to see personally because I didn't have my Man United lens on watching him at Liverpool. I had my England lens on. I'm thinking, you know what, the boy's going to do it. And we're going to be talking about that in our starting 11s coming up soon, which will be great. Right then, forwards. This is going to be very, very fun, Travis. Jude Bellingham, the boy. Jared Bowen, Eberechi Eze, Phil Foden, player of the season. Jack Grealish, not a fan of that one. Anthony Gordon, big fan of that one. Harry Kane, can't not be a fan of that one. James Maddison, controversial one. Cole Palmer, exceptional one. Bukayo Saka, fantastic one. Ivan Toney, and Ollie Watkins, one of the best players of the season. Right, I'll give you my two-piece before going ahead. I don't think we can go to the Euros with 3 of these players in this list. And it's going to lead into our list that we're going to not take to the Euros because you can only take 7 people. No, there's 7 people we can't take to the Euros, which would be fun. So we're going to start from here. I don't think personally you can take Ivan Toney. I can't take Jack Grealish. I can't take Eberechi Eze. And I don't think I'll take James Maddison from this list as well. That's if I needed to take 4 of these because you've got half a squad there, which is crazy in the forwards. Let's hear your initial thoughts to that and to my reaction as well, Travis.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely agree. I think this is the area of the squad in which we're most blessed. The attacking talent that England have got at the disposal at the moment is frightening. And I think we go head to head in that department with any team in Europe and I'd say even the world as well.
And what Gareth Southgate said as well, he's going on form, not reputation. That's why the likes of Marcus Rashford's missed out, Raheem Sterling's missed out. You're seeing Dominic Solanke, which makes no sense to me how he's been omitted from the squad, but Ivan Toney makes it. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here from Gareth Southgate. If he wants to go on form, he has to go for these players that we've got on form right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think Tony's been good since he's come back, but Solanke's been better. Bournemouth
Hard done by.
And I do feel for Solanke. I do think that he perhaps should have been included, but there is something to be said for history with the national team.
Remember, Solanke won the World Cup, the Under-17s World Cup in India for England as well with Phil Foden. So he's been there and done that for England at a youth level as well.
Very true, but Ivan Toney's been there previously with the national team. Not a lot, granted. He's not played a lot of games.
Scored against Belgium, didn't he? Recently.
So.
Yeah.
But
says recent in the books as well for England.
Recent history of scoring for England, and perhaps that's something that Southgate holds close to his chest. So you see sometimes players can have excellent careers with the club, but the national team it just never really clicks. It doesn't really work for them. So I can see why he's a little bit risk averse in that sense. But yeah, I agree. Grealish, I'm surprised he's even on this list with the other players at our disposal.
Makes no sense to me.
With how little he's performed this season, I am very surprised.
Little was played either.
Yeah.
Completed 390 minutes in 2024, which is crazy. Yeah, man.
Really not
awful from Jack Grealish.
Not much for 100 million.
Let's get into it, Travis. If there's 7 players you can't take to the Euros from this initial squad, given everyone's fit, who would you go for leaving out and why?
I think my 7, I'm going for James Trafford.
Yep.
I think he's the easy #1 pick. I'm leaving Jarell Quansah, I think, just because he's not quite experienced enough, in my opinion.
Better quality around at centre-back.
Yeah, I would say so. I just think there's too many players ahead of him. I'm going to go for Lewis Dunk to leave at home as well.
Love it.
And this is where it gets difficult, I think. Looking at the forwards, I'm going to leave Grealish.
Yes.
I'm going to leave Toney. I think Kane and Watkins is enough. If we need someone...
And Bowen too, if you need.
I was just about to say, if we need someone to fill in, in the middle. Bowen can do that job as well. I am going to leave James Madison. As much as it pains me to say,
I thought I was just being cheeky there, but why are you leaving Madders out?
If I was going off the first half of the season, I'm taking him all
Yeah,
day
man.
long.
You were talking about starting him as well with Bellingham.
Exactly,
First half of the
100%.
season.
The first half of the season, I was saying we have to get him into the team with Bellingham somehow. But second half of the season, his form's dropped, and for me, Palmer's overtaken him. As much as it pains me to say, I think with Foden, Bellingham, Palmer, Saka, Kane,
Embarrassment of riches.
yeah, that's exactly the term. You can't squeeze Madison into it, unfortunately. So, as much as I would have loved to take him, I'm leaving Madison at home, and I don't think I'd take Anthony Gordon either.
You wouldn't take Gordon?
No, I don't
Nah,
think so.
man.
No.
How?
I've never been impressed by Gordon. I've got to
Oh
say.
my goodness me.
It's a little bit of a controversial opinion nowadays, I know, but I've never.
The Brazilian scouts is
never
not
seen it
going.
with
That's
this
crazy.
guy.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
I've never seen it with this guy. And I think the other options we have in those areas, again, Foden, Palmer, Saka, Watkins, I think.
But only Foden's probably the most natural one on the left. And there's no Rashford either, so he's not going to be the natural starter.
True, but I wouldn't be taking him.
You reckon Foden will be starting every game on the left and then just replacements in the
I
stuff?
would say so. I think he's got the energy to play every game.
No, that's fine. That's fair enough. For my 7 that I would leave out, very similar to Travis. James Trafford, au revoir, don't need you there. No, what's the German term? Auf Wiedersehen. Auf Wiedersehen, James Trafford, you're not going. Lewis Dunk, Auf Wiedersehen, you're not going to Germany at all. I would leave out Jarell Quansah too. Auf Wiedersehen, don't need you here. You're too young so far, but I think you've got a bright future ahead of you. I can't wait to see what works with you under Arne Slot, which would be fantastic. I don't know. I want to leave out Curtis Jones, but I don't think. I want to leave out Curtis.
I won't take him.
I don't want to leave out Curtis Jones because I think if Maddison can prove his fitness, I'd like to take Maddison instead. But Curtis Jones can play deeper and he can hold the ball a bit more in the defensive third as opposed to James Maddison. So yeah, you know what? I'm gonna keep Curtis Jones and I think we may be the same. No, actually no, I don't. Get rid of Curtis Jones. Sorry, that's another Liverpool player. That's another Liverpool player out. James Trafford, Jarell Quansah, Curtis Jones, Lewis Dunk, Jack Grealish. Do we need 3 strikers? Do we? Watkins could also play on the left as well. Eberechi Eze. One more. Ooh. I'm going to be that guy. I'm backing Anthony Gordon. I'm going to take out Ivan Toney.
Fair enough. I think, yeah.
I want Wharton to go to the Euros, man. Wharton and Rice would be a really good partnership. I think they'd be fantastic together. What a great experience it would be. What a Rise has had from Blackburn Rovers. And the Risers just can't be from the bigger teams like Kobbie Mainoo coming into the team, Marcus Rashford in 2016 as well. We want to see a big rise from Adam Wharton, and I'm here for it as well. We've seen it with Jared Bradthwaite over the season, so I need to see it with Adam Wharton. Let's say Adam Wharton to the Euros, ladies and gentlemen. Agree or disagree? Comment below, and thanks for watching.